Hey guys, it's Jenny here, and today I'm going to do my March wrap-up. I will say first that I did not read all of the books that I wanted to read, but I did meet my month, goal. I did read 7 books, I only read 2 of the ones I actually had on my reading list. So I'm gonna turn them this way so you can't really see. But okay, one I'm actually currently reading, but you know, it's the 30th, so I have tonight and tomorrow, and I will finish it because I read 150 pages within an hour and a half, so I should get it done. Hear any noises? I have a cat in the bathroom who just got back from the vet. My mom's downstairs, so she might talk to me. Or I have other cats and critters up here, so if you hear a noise, don't be like freaked out. So the first book that I'm doing something new with this wrap up where I'm going to try to rate the book and give like, without spoilers, what I liked and didn't like about it. But, yeah. The first book that I read this month was Three Dark Crowns by Kendari Blake. And actually I'm pretty sure I finished this at the very end of February, but I counted it towards March because I already made my February video, so I will say that I'm gonna give this book I would give it a 3.5, but I'm gonna give this book like a 3.5 to 4 out of stars, or 4 out of 5 stars, solely because like it took me 145 pages just to get really into it. And even then I was kind of like wary about it. It may have just been because I was excited to read another book, but because I had to force myself to read this after my book slump. But I guess some of the things in it were a little bit confusing, but towards the end I got super into it, and now I have to wait until September for the sequel to come out, and I'm like, they just left me at a cliffhanger and they're supposed to expect me to wait until September? What is this sorcery? But basically it's about these triplets on the island of Fenburn, and each possesses a magic. One is an elemental able to control like fire and the weather and all sorts of stuff. The other one is a naturalist who can bloom flowers and tame like any kind of creature, like communicate with them. And then the other one is a poisoner where they can ingest poisons and it won't like hurt them whatsoever. And so yeah, each triplet is possesses one of those magic, and they have to defeat the other two in order to become the queen crowned. And it's not turning out how I thought it would. It's kind of really shocking at the end, but I really enjoyed it towards the end. I love it so far, actually. But yeah, still at the beginning was a little bit sluggish to get through, I want to say. But and then I read whoa, what is that? Not focusing. And then I read Everything by Nicola Yoon, and I will just say, as soon as I finished this, I picked up this and I finished it with a span of 4 hours. I'm pretty sure this was like 307 pages. Yeah, 306 pages. This was so good! It was super easy to read. I'll show you one of the pages. Like seriously, it has things like this in it, like little tiny diary entries, or, she writes a lot of diagrams, like, she does these little schedules. The chapters are like anywhere from 1 to 5 pages short. Or, what am I saying? They're like 1 to 5 pages long, and yeah, there's some like that. There's really short. It was so easy to read, and it was such a good story. I loved this so much. And the ending is not what you would expect at all. I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I adored this book. I love it so much. Then I was highly anticipating this book since, I want to say like the end of last year. And that is The Blood of Wonderland by Colleen Oakes. Yeah, I had to pick up this book like a couple days after it came out. I was so excited because I loved Queen of Hearts. Oh my gosh, and it ended in such a cliffhanger, and so did this one. Like, oh my gosh. I'm really beginning to understand where this is going to go. It's kind of like when I read Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I never expected where it was going, but they are retelling the story of the Red Queen. So, knowing that, I kind of think I know where this is gonna go. It's worrying me. But, I'm probably gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars. While it was interesting, it kind of seemed to just drag on in the same kind of space. Like, she was just trying to stretch out the story. But it was super good. There were so many twists and turns that I didn't even see coming. And I'm so excited for War of the Cards to come out. And I have to wait until next year. Next year in March is when the third book comes out. The third and last book. Because if you'll see right here, this will be bolded on the last book. The first book, this was bolded, and I didn't, this was a good book. I really loved it. It took me, I believe, maybe 2 days to read. It didn't take me that long. So yeah, I read those 3 so far. And then I was in a little bit of a book slump. I didn't really feel like reading, but, oh, excuse me. Well, that was a fail. Okay, back at it again. My Instagram notifications are like going through the roof. Oh my god. They're like, wow, that's annoying. I was in a little bit of a book slump, so I did what any person would do in a book slump. I went to the library. And if you watched my library book haul, you'll know that I had this book in the haul. And I picked up this one because it was the shortest one and because it just really looked interesting to me. And it's We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I never even gave you synopses for the other 2. But this video is already 7 minutes, so I'm just gonna have to skip those. Sorry. This is about a girl named Marin, or Marin, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. But basically, after the death of her grandpa, who was her guardian after her mom died, she is devastated and she finds things out about him that she didn't expect. And she doesn't tell anyone where she's going. She just takes off to New York from California and starts a new life. And it's all about her old best friend. I'm just gonna say best friend, get in contact with her and try to figure out why this happened and why she just left without telling anybody. It was a really good book. It was a little bit slow, but I really loved it. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a really good story. It kind of kept you going. There were some surprises I didn't see coming, but I really did like it. It was good. It really showed some things. Oh my gosh. So, I know everybody's like, oh my god, it's so cheesy, why would you read that? But I did. I read The Vampire Diaries by L.J. Smith. As some of you may know, I'm a giant fan of the TV show. I adore The Vampire Diaries TV series. And so I'm like, oh, you know what, they're based off of books, I'm gonna pick them up. Oh... These are so different from the shows, and I will say that I love the show 10 times more than I liked the books. The books are way cheesier than the show, and I think they just did, even if they changed so many aspects of the show from the book, I think that the changes were better than the books. Like, I think they represented the characters way better in the shows than they did in the books. But it ended up being a really good story on its own. I mean, I try not to think of them as the same thing because so much is different. It's really easy to think that way. And so I'm just like, okay, this isn't based off the TV show and it's still a good story. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 stars just because some of the aspects were cheesy, I want to say. Like, some of the last names, like Matt Honeycutt, instead of Donovan. I'm like, God, No. No, 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 no. And some things were cheesy, but I really did like the story as a whole. It flowed really easily, and I did like that about it. And plus, like, I love the cover of this. It's like, it's so soft. So, after that, I picked up the book that released. I picked up this book the day it released, and that is The End of Oz by Danielle Page. Oh my god, I was actually, like, I had a bittersweet moment picking up this book because I loved the Dorothy Must Die series. I love it so much, and what the heck? Just knowing that there's not going to be a book after this is like, it's really hurting my heart right now, because, I mean, the way she ended the epilogue kind of leads you to believe that there could be another book, but it's an epilogue, so, I mean, unless she created a spin-off series, which would be a brilliant idea, by the way, this is the end of Oz. I can't really give you much info on it because it's the 4th book in a series, but read the Dorothy Must Die series because it is excellent. There were so many things. I've said this about every book, but I'm not even exaggerating when I say, like, my mind just, at the end, it really left me crying a lot. I was just, like, weeping. But the epilogue got better, and I don't know. And then this book right now is the one that I'm reading, but I am 138 pages into it on chapter 10, but I know for sure that I will finish this by this month, so I'm gonna count it in so that I don't have to make a whole nother video. And that is the Vampire Diaries book 2, The Fury and Dark Reunion. I really, like, started flying through this book when I first picked it up. And any of you that do watch Vampire Diaries, that's not Caroline, that's Elena. Yeah, I know. The first 130 pages 100 pages, I, like, flew through because it was so, like, new and interesting and, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And now it's slowing down. I don't know why. Probably because I'm reading at home instead of school, and I mean, who wants to be at school? But yeah, I'm liking it so far. Again, I like the show better, but the books are really good too. I'm not going to rate this one yet because I haven't finished it, so I don't know how it goes, but yes. So this month, I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yes, I met my goal. I met my goal for the month. I read 7 books. So even if they weren't the ones that I planned on reading, except for those 2, I still read 7 books. So it's a win-win. Alright, so if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And stay tuned for my March haul and my April TBR videos, as they will be coming shortly. Thanks. Bye.